I must say, the recent installment of One Piece is probably one of the most hype moments in One Piece history. It's not just the fact that Rocks is fighting Imu. It's the fact that Rocks, Roger, Garp, Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido, some of the most legendary characters and some of the strongest characters of all time in the One Piece history, did a team-up attack. I remember when Kaido and Big Mom did a team-up attack, and that was breaking the internet. Now we're getting Kaido, Big Mom, and 4 guys stronger than them doing a team-up attack against Imu, and Imu gets back up. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think that Imu is broken. I think Imu is one of the most broken characters in anime history because you just took one of the strongest attacks in One Piece. If not the strongest attack I've ever seen in One Piece. Like, that combined attack is probably the strongest attack in One Piece we've seen. And Imu just got back up and started throwing hands at Rock. So, yeah, Oda is definitely trying to tell us something. There's a reason why Oda gave Luffy a broken Delver in Gear 5, which people have been complaining about for so much. Like, yeah, now I get why. Because you need something that broken to go against something that broken when it comes to Imu. And I think it's Imu's regeneration that's really interesting. I think it has to do with laws, surgery of the immortal surgery and whatnot. I think Oda has a lot of lore to keep explaining about Imu, but from what I'm seeing, it's 10 out of 10 right now, and there's going to be more God Valley greatness coming up soon, with, of course, Rocks turning into a demon, which I predicted, guys. Don't forget my last video, I predicted it. Go check that out. So for a unique moment in One Piece, I'm gonna do this chapter video discussion in chronological order. I usually just talk about the most hype things and then I talk about the smaller details, but this chapter overall was just so hyped that, like, it doesn't even matter if I do the most hype things because every moment of this chapter is hype. So let's start off with Imu killing pirates and marines. Honestly, this is probably Imu's biggest mistake right here. If Imu didn't kill marines, Garp probably would be on his side, if I'm being honest. And it just shows that Imu only cares about celestial dragons, so he does not give a crap if other people like humans, when I talk about humans, I'm talking about like marines or pirates or any other people. As long as you're celestial dragon, that's the only way you'll be untouched by Imu, and even then Imu could still wipe you out. So definitely showed Imu's true colors, and honestly it shows that Garp made the right decision going against Imu. I also found it super interesting that Imu sees Davy Jones when looking at Rocks. We all know that Imu has an obsession with Joy Boy, but we just recently found out that Imu has an obsession with another voice entry figure, and that is, of course, Davy Jones. So we have Joy Boy, Davy Jones, and Lily, 3 very prominent characters in the center of Imu's universe, Neurona Imu. So I'm just telling you guys right now that mural is getting more and more clear, and we still know there's an ancient giant that has to come into play with a legendary Delph fruit. Oda is definitely painting the Void Sentry and the First World, connecting to the Third World, what's going on right now. As of course Rock says, I am not Davy Jones. You got the wrong guy. And we know that it's gonna be more hype for what we see. And of course, when Rocks now is Dami reverse, he's a demon now working for Imu. Like, what the hell? Rocks then mentions the promise, of course, speaking of course, I think the Will of D in the Void Sentry, and how, of course, they have to inherit it and everything. Because Roger knows about the Will of D, but it looks like Rocks knows about the Will of D as well. And Imu says that's why you all need to be smoked. You all need to be destroyed, and his world is not complete, as Rocks denies it being his world. Don't forget, when Whitebeard asked Rocks what's in front of us, Rocks said, the world. When, of course, Saturn asked, what are you guys going after? Von Auger said, the world. Marshall D. Teach, Roxy Zebek, 2 guys who are, of course, direct descendants of Davy Jones. I definitely think that Davy Jones is probably the founder of the Will of D. That's my theory. I'm sticking with that. And I got some other crazy videos that I'm about to be dropping soon because I have a lot of theories that I gotta drop, guys. I also gotta say, Garp pulling up on Imu versus Rocks and seeing Imu killing Marines. That's when he knew he had to team up with pirates, something that he hates, something that he loathes, but I gotta say this also, Garp interaction with Roger is like a rivalry, but Garp and Rocks literally have 0 interaction. Like, Rocks speaks about Garp once, but that's pretty much it. I wonder why. I wonder what's going on between Garp and Rocks. I know they're not from the same generation. It looks like Rocks is pretty much just a generation before Garp, Roger, and Whitebeard. But the thing is, I also gotta mention this, the fact that Whitebeard and Rocks are like BFFs and Roger and Rocks are rivals. Maybe there's something deeper with Garp and Rocks, because I do think maybe Rocks is part of that generation. Yeah, 18 years ago, before God Valley, he killed the Marine Admiral, and of course he confronted, Imu. But oh, maybe that's what it is. I just figured it out while recording this video. Maybe Garp had some special connection with that admiral that was killed by Rocks. Maybe, but I think that Oda would have dropped it by now. I don't know, but there's something going on between Garp and Rocks. That's all I gotta say. And now some of the smaller detail I gotta talk about in this chapter before I go to the main things. Captain John flexing Eustace Kid's Delphi power to get all the treasure on God Valley. Who would have thought? Oda obviously is wanting Kid to return in Elbap. That's why he's giving Captain John Kid's Delphi and putting a lot of hype to Captain John. It's kind of obvious, but I do gotta say this. Kid is looking more and more portraying not like some of the top tiers, because Captain John having your Delphi, we all know that there's a lot of connections when it comes to Oda showing parallels. Captain John parallel, yes, he became one of the prominent figures. He's one of the strongest Rocks pirates, but he's not Rocks. He's not Whitebeard. He's not Big Mom. He's not Shiki. He's not even Kaido, guys. So yeah, that's not really the best portrayal for Kid. But looking the way Kid's story has going on, maybe Oda has some vendetta against Kid. I don't know, because I used to love Kid, but now I'm thinking I don't know where Oda's going with Kid, yo, guys. I also love how Roger is just locked in during this moment of Captain John absorbing all the treasure, and just continues running. While Scott Brigabon is trying to hold on to his axe. It's a pretty cool moment by Captain John, but Roger's like, yeah, this doesn't really affect me. Like I said, Roger, we know, has the parallels with Luffy. Luffy definitely has done way better than Kid, and since they've been introduced as rivals. I do also gotta say this: Roger is just running to Imbo versus Rocks and doesn't care about Captain John's magnet. Kind of like how Luffy is gonna be running into Blackbeard as his rival, not Eustace Kid, which a lot of people believe. And then I gotta talk about this too: Gondry. Now, nothing against Gondry, but him defeating Captain John. What the fuck, bro? Usually don't swear, but I gotta say, what the fuck, bro? I know it's a sneak attack, but come on, Gondry's using Mr. Five's Booger Delphi power. Like, maybe he's overpowered. Like, we know we saw him fighting Gabon earlier. Maybe he is a monster. And he is an original Rocks pirate, the founding 6 pirates. That is Rocks, Whitebeard, Ochaku, Shiki, him, and Stussy. But I do gotta say this, guys. He is getting aura from defeating Captain John, but we know that Shiki is gonna be a little more trouble for you, brother, because he was trying to kill Shiki too, and I don't think that's gonna happen, guys. Like, nah, that's not gonna happen, because I'm telling you guys right now, Shiki and Ochaku look to be the strongest guys after Rocks, Whitebeard, and Big Mom. Right now, I used to think Shiki was stronger than Big Mom, but Shiki's been kind of like looking kind of goofy in this flashback compared to Big Mom, who's been looking kind of hype, and she's fighting Imu, and Shiki's not. And it kind of reminds me of the whole argument of Zoro Sanji, how Sanji was not on the rooftop and Zoro was. That's what we're kind of getting here with Shiki and Big Mom, guys, when it comes to the story, narrative, and everything there. We also see Captain John's Magnet Delphi, of course, get Dragon's gun, and this is the cause of Dragon and Shanks separating. It's crazy how Dragon and Shanks, some of the most prominent pipe characters in the current One Piece story, are so connected in their origins of Shanks, of Dragon trying to protect him, as Shanks crawls into a treasure chest that would later be founded by the Roger Pirates. So everything is being connected in this God Valley flashback. And man, it was hilarious when Big Mom came out of nowhere, talking shit to Kaido. They gave me kind of brother and sister vibes fighting. They were fighting on Wano before Onigashima raid. I definitely gotta say, Big Mom seems to be the big sister, and Kaido's a little bro who's just annoying his little big sister on some Phoenix and Verb stuff, and Candace. I don't know, but I'm telling you guys right now, Big Mom, she took that as a champion. That Kaido attack, she took it as a champion. She came back fighting. Yeah, she has some marks on it, but she definitely came back fighting with her Konkrasaki coding. I loved it. But yeah, talking about Konkrasaki coding, we got Galaxy Impact, we got Divine Departure, we got Cursed Abyss, Rocks with that insane named attack, even Whitebeard with his first named attack with Space Breaker, and of course Okaku's Sovereignty, Nation's Might by Big Mom. These 5 attacks were all Konkrasaki coded attacks on Imu. And then we have Dragon just doing his Heat Breath, which he just called Dragon because of course he just got his dog fruit. Dragon being like the youngest there, the apprentice there. Like, I definitely got to say, Big Mom, it's pretty funny because it looked like Big Mom was going for Kaido, and Kaido just of course got out the way, and then her attack hit Imu. But I gotta say, yeah, there's a lot of interesting things going on here. This is probably the strongest attack we've seen in One Piece. I know when we seen Kaido and Big Mom do their Ocean Sovereignty against Zoro, and Zoro had to block for a split second and broke all his bones in his body. That was, to me, one of the strongest attacks. Then there's, of course, Kaido and Luffy clashing, the Bajirang gun, Blazing Bakua. That was insane when it comes to that. That was like island level attacks right there. Of course, we've seen so many different attacks with Divine Departure from Roger. We've seen Divide Departure from Shanks. We've seen Whitebeard, of course, with his insane trying to destroy Marineford. We've seen Blackbeard. We've seen a lot. Like, we've seen so many different destructive capability attacks and whatnot. But this right here, like, honestly, it looked like the haki was knocking out the fodder on the island. And I gotta admit, yo, guys, this is a big deal, guys, because if this is not able to take down Immu, what will? Like, what will take down Immu? And it makes me just think, yo, Rocks was kind of predicting it. He knew that him, Garp, Roger, Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, it didn't matter who was there. He knew that the 2 legendary Devil Fruits are going to be needed to take down Immu. And those 2 legendary Devil Fruits are in Elbaf right now. Yes, Loki and Luffy. These 2 L's will be needed for a W. You know what they say, 2 L's make a W. Yeah, maybe I'm going too hard with these kind of like running on puns and everything, but come on, guys. This is insanity. I love how Rocks just continues attacking Immu, slicing him up in pieces, but it's kind of useless because Immu has the regeneration. Even Rocks using Conqueror's Haki. Don't forget, this is the same Rocks that defeated Garling's regeneration, so Immu just has just a different level of regeneration. And of course, Immu starts talking shit about Rocks' wife and his kid, Teach. And of course, uses this moment to, of course, rage bait Rocks in a sense and stab him. And while he stabs his body, Rocks is tanking like a champ. He's like, yo, this doesn't even make me tickle. This is nothing to me. And then Immu's like, oh yeah, you thought I was trying to hurt you? No, I wasn't trying to hurt you. I was trying to take you over. This is where the black darkness of Immu is. Like, it's the, not the physical brute. It's more so the fact that the hacks that Immu has, turning him into something that Rocks we would thought we would never see. Yes, that's right. Immu, which we've seen already use in Elbaf, and now in the flashback uses Dami Reverse. Like I predicted, Rocks has fangs coming out of him. I said Rocks would turn into a demon in my last video, guys. Go check out that video. As Eris and Teach are running in the forest, wow, Demon Rocks is going to be overpowered. He might go for his wife. He might go for his kid. And it looks like that he needs to be stopped by 2 legendary characters. And all I can think about is Garp and Roger. They got to team up. Now, when it comes to Whitebeard, Whitebeard is a legendary character, and Kaido and Big Mom are potentially legendary characters, of course, because they will become legends in Wano. But they can't kill their captain, guys. So it has to be Garp and Roger. It has to be Rocks' rival. It has to be these 3 guys who pretty much ran this era. And Rocks, he has to go. And I always thought this was going to be it. This is how it's going to happen. And yeah, I'm excited to see the outcome of Roger and Garp versus Demon Rocks. So I wonder where Immu lies in all this. And man, it just makes me think, man, like, what happened in that Void Sentry? Like, this guy Immu is just too overpowered, guys. That's all. He's not even here. He's not even on God Valley. He's still in the Holy Land Mary Joas. Think about that. Even in Elbaf, he's not even there. Gunky took over Gunku's body. He's taking over people's bodies and just causing havoc, guys.